Hi, hello, welcome. It's Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Thanks ever so much for tuning in today. Today I have a gift and card to show you. And really I want to show you a little technique for doing this multicolour stamping that we've got going on, but I thought I'd show you a bit about the rest of it as well. So first of all, this is a box frame. This is how it all started in my head. We start off with this box frame here, and it's just made with a piece of crumb cake. A4 size crumb cake. I'll pop the dimensions up on how to do this on my blog that goes along with this video, but I've just done a bit of sponging at the back, stamped some of the trees from Rooted in Nature, the 2 stamp set Rooted in Nature, which is just lovely. So I've used these trees here to form this background piece, and then this pine tree, this solitary pine tree, which reminds me of a tree outside my house actually, just a bit down the road. That's what I've put in here. Made the box frame. I've used the large wooden, the round wood piece, you know, the slice of wood cut through to do the border, which I did first. Then I've used the friend out of the Well Written Stamps framelit set, and just added a couple of leaves and some ribbon and just a little for you from Well Said. So I thought that's a nice little gift to give to a friend, you know, just as a gift to say hi for you, you know, whatever, could be for a birthday, whatever. But obviously we need a card to go with that. And I really liked this, the way I got this two-tone. It just came to me in a flash. So I'm going to show you how to do this two-tone pine tree. And then I made this card to match, a bit of crumb cake here to mirror the frame, and then the same trees at the background. So we're going to make this card today, and I'll be referring back to some stuff from the frame obviously, but this is what we're going to make today. And then I made another one but without the two-tone, so you can see the difference. This is just, again, very simple. This is using some daubing, which I showed you last week before, something like that, inking technique, and then just a piece of the beautiful papers that match the Nature's Poem papers. So I've been playing with Rooted with Nature really, but it all started off with this frame in my head. So yes, I just wanted to show you how you can use it in various different ways. But I think this is pretty. I love the double frame, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and also this stamping. So the first thing I also thought was I'm going to change it up and change it from a white background, which is very white, to a crumb cake background, because I think that matches the frame a little bit better, and it still means we can do all of the other pieces that we need. They'll still work better on this, but I think it will just draw the frame and the card piece, the card base, together nicely. So that's my card base. Then we're going to need a piece of Cajun Craze, and this is cut 10 by 14.4. That just pops on the back there. And then you're going to need a piece of Whisper White that's been cut 13.9 that way by 9.5 that way. And I've got a couple of sheets here just so that we can practice a bit on, because we're going to be doing some sponging. That's how we get this lovely background. So we'll pop those to the side, and I'm going to get out a piece of grid paper. I'm actually going to use a piece of my small grid paper. Normally I like using my large grid paper, but for something just this size we're okay just to use a small one, and it'll help you see the technique a bit better, I think. We are going to need an old piece as well, so you'll need an old piece of paper. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this like hill line, tree line behind here. Okay, so we get some crumb cake, ink refill, a block, and we're just going to pop a couple of drops on there. Don't need very much. Okay, you're going to need a piece of our sponge, Stampin' Sponges. Okay, and then I'm going to use some of this vegetable glycerin again. So you can get this from any supermarket. I got my big pot online through Amazon, but you're just looking for vegetable glycerin. You don't want meat or animal glycerin because it'll smell. So you don't want that. You just want vegetable glycerin, and you're just going to basically use it to help give you a more blended look on our paper. So I'm just taking a dab of glycerin, mixing it with a dab of ink, dotting it together on my on my block. Okay, so that's how I'm doing the ink. Then you need to tear yourself a mountain range, okay, or a hillside or whatever you want to call it. So we're just going to take this, which way am I going? That way. There we go. I want a sort of a, maybe this one's a bit better. Yeah, a bit better here. I'd like a little bit of a hill, except I need it the other way around. There we go. There we go. This is finally what I want to do. So what you want to do is you want to place your cardstock on your protective mat, your grid paper. You're going to place your curve here onto your cardstock like this. I made it actually quite a bit deeper than that, quite a bit of a quite high here and low here. And then with your glycerin that you've mixed with your ink, you're just going to start swirling. And because you've put the glycerin on, it keeps the ink from drying immediately into the fibres. And that's basically what makes it smooth. So you could make this on shimmery white paper. You know, I'm not dissing our shimmery white paper because I love our shimmery white paper, but sometimes you don't want a card that's shimmering. And you don't want to do it on watercolour paper because it's too grainy. You want to have that nice smooth look. And you just want to have something that's not glossy, just matte, that looks like a mountainside. And you take that away, and then you're left with that. Now this will take just a few more seconds to dry because it's got that glycerin in, but honestly not much. So just finish off your pieces, make sure that you're happy with them, and that's basically how you do your colouring for that piece. And now you've got your hillside. It's a little steep, my hillside, but I'm going to go with it. We'll have steep hills, that's fine. So in the Rooted of Nature stamp set, it's a two-set stamp set. So you get the big tree, the big wood tree ring, plus you get some lovely huge sentiments and some diddy sentiments too. Lots of leaves and of course lots of trees and stuff. It also comes with a set of matching dies, which we will be using later, or at least I'll show you how I've cut something out from it later. I don't think we necessarily need to chop it out live, but there we go, or record it even, but I can show you what it'll look like. And then you're going to take your Tranquil Tide ink, and you might want to put your grid paper back underneath because we are going to be stamping off the side. So you're going to ink up your trees, go quite firmly. I always kind of start in the middle and then go to either side with my second generation. So do that and then more firmly. There we go. Actually, that's not looking too bad. Do I need to do any more of those? No, probably not actually. I might do a single solitary one. It's always good to have a solitary one that you can add to everything, and then make that one a little higher up there. So you're just getting a feel of trees going down the side of a cliff or a mountain. Not really a cliff, is it? It's kind of like it's a mountain. So so that's how you do those, and then you're going to just stamp your sentiment. Now you can choose whichever sentiment you like. I like "You Are Wonderful." I think it's a good sentiment, but you might not like that. You might want to do "Happy Birthday" or something like that. So, you know, feel free to mix and match between stamp sets. You don't always have to use the stamp set that you have in front of you. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is Cajun Craze now that I'm using for the words. And I've over-inked that, but never mind. Let's see how that is. Now this one's a bit tricky because the straight edge is the "You Are" at the top here. So you have to get that turned round and sort of lined up with the top of your words. Top of your words. Line up the top with the... Oh, it's a little crooked. Can we get away with that? Yeah, probably get away with that. Yeah, you need to line them up a little better than I did with the top of your cardstock there. Yeah, they're fine. Okay, so then we're going to start just by layering this up, because this is then pretty much done in terms of what you're actually going to be doing for the base of the card. So you can get all of that stuff done on dusted, easy peasy, and then let that be drying. And I mean, it's not wet. You can just feel that it's not as dry as normal when we normally do our cards. You know, normally you stamp it and that's it. It's almost instantaneously dry. In this case, it's just not quite. But it will dry. The glycerin will dry out. As indeed will my ink. There we go. Oh no, I think I'm coming to the end of that one. Okay, let's try another one. Oh yeah, I picked up the wrong one, that's fine. That's my old one. There we go. There we go. I have about 3 on the go because it just depends on what state they're in terms of usage. Alright, so there we go. Pop that down there. Yeah, see, already it gives a different look because of the crumb cake back. I like it. Now I'm going to show you how we do this piece. So when I stamped this tree before, I didn't really like how it came out all in green. I wanted it to be a different, I wanted it to show the different colours of, oops, I've got glycerin all over the back of my stamps. I wanted it to show the different colours of the tree, because it's, you know, it's a tree with a trunk, so I wanted to show the tree with a trunk. I'm just going to clean off my block before it causes any more problems. There we go. Plus I need it for this. So I wanted to somehow create this with a green tree and a Cajun Craze trunk. And I thought, well, I could use daubers. I could try masking it with some, washi tape. That's the word I'm looking for. But trying to get into these little pieces with a piece of washi tape is quite tricky. So I was sitting here and I stamped it up and I thought, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to get that to work? And then I had a revelation in that I thought, well, if I was adding ink to something, I might use my blender pen. So I wonder if my blender pen can take ink off. So I used a paper towel to take off as much as I possibly could from the trunk. And then I got just my normal blender pen out, and I started to do this, and it lifts the ink off of here and onto the pen, which then allows you to take it off the pen and onto the paper, which then takes the ink away from your tree trunk, which is just, I was like, why have I never thought of this before? Because then you can go into all of these smaller areas and do exactly the same. So this is how I lift the colour off, and it doesn't take very long, you know, if you know where stuff is. So if you ever get ink on a piece that you didn't want to and you think, oh, I've spent ages colouring that tree in with, you know, maybe with your pens, you know, your markers or whatever, and then all of a sudden you've got something where you don't want it, rather than trying to do it all over again, just use your blender pen, lift off the bits you don't want, then go in with your right marker to add back in colour again, because that's much easier to then direct in the right places, like so. And then when you stamp it out, give it a huff, because obviously that tranquil tide's been sitting there for a while, but then when you stamp it out, you got a two-tone tree. How cool is that? Yeah? So I'm delighted by this technique, as you can tell. I'm very excited because it means that I will be able to do much more colouring in much more detail. So that was cool, and I thought, great, okay, so I'm going to cut that out. So here's one in typical Blue Peter fashion that I've done earlier. Okay, so I've cut him out because I want to concentrate on this die cutting. So I liked that, and I liked my tree, and I thought, yeah, that's good, okay. So now I'm going to put him just straight on here. And then I thought, oh no, he doesn't stand out enough from the card. So that's when I thought, right, I need something else. I want to make a frame. So piece of crumb cake, and you're going to need your rectangle stitched shapes. Let's start that again. Rectangle stitched framelit dies. Rectangle stitched framelit dies. Honestly, I wish they wouldn't use stitched. It doesn't do me any favours. Okay. So you're going to pick 2 dies. Now I've picked, I think it was these 2, but let me just double check. Yeah, that's the outside. So you're going to pick what's this one? It's the 1, 2. So you're going to pick 3 and 4, okay, from the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, on the large side of dies. But you could do it with anything you wanted. If you wanted to make a smaller frame, you could just make one with the narrow-sided frames just to fit a tree. But I quite like the fact that this one comes over a little bit. It's up to you. Then you're going to need your big shot, okay, because I need you to see how this is done. I can't really, well, I can explain it, but it's much easier if you actually see it in real life. So, excuse the state of my frames, my die plates rather, because I need to get some new ones. Right, here we go. So we're going to pop that plate in there. So this has our base plate, our thin die adapter, and a cutting mat. And you're going to start off using the smallest frame, okay, and you're going to place that in the centre, and then you're going to turn your cardstock sideways so that the die is going to go through in a diagonal fashion. And I found that this gives you the best results of cutting through the stitching. I'm going to whiz it through, and I'm going to whiz it back so you can see. Okay, right, take that off, and then that pops out that middle piece like so, and that gives you a nice piece that you can use for something else. And then you're going to go back into the piece that you've made a hole in, and then this is where you might need a bit of washi tape. You can try your magnetic platform as well, but I find to keep it absolutely steady, washi tape is really the best thing. You're going to line your frame up, make sure it's equal top and bottom, or as equal as you can get it. Stick some washi tape on there like that, and again we're going to put it through diagonally, or as diagonally as you can get it, just to go through. There we go. Run it through and run it back. And then what this does is that now creates you a second cut, which when you pop it out gently, take your washi tape off, when you pop that out gently, there we go, it gives you a frame. Isn't that cool? So rectangles don't have to just be for, you know, having something as a background piece that you put something on. They can be cut out again and used as an actual frame. So I'm quite chuffed with that. That's not too, it's not too shabby. No, not too shabby at all. Okay, so then when you bring this back and then you add the frame to it, I don't know, something just happens that kind of makes me want to go, oh yeah, that's now, you know, that's really helping to raise that now out of the picture. Which is funny, isn't it? Because you know, you're looking at a picture frame and a picture through a picture frame, but it actually helps to raise the tree up. and then I added a little bit of extra, just a little piece of this burlap. Okay, so just chop, 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 bit of burlap. And I am also thinking this time I might use one of the trinkets that we had on the frame, one of these trinkets, just to tie everything in. Let's see if I can, there we go. Yeah, I think a 3-leaf, they do come in single leaves, but I think a 3-leaf would tie that in nicely. So we're going to go for the frame here. We're then going to place a piece of burlap over the frame, or you could place it underneath if you wanted. It's up to you, but I'm going to go over. And then I thought we would do leaves and tree. Actually, it might need to come down a bit further than that. Oh, yeah, maybe that's not. Yeah, I still think I'd like to do leaves. Maybe leaves coming in from under the tree like that. The tree's obviously going to be raised up, so that's going to give us a bit. And I might turn the burlap over so it's not quite so pushing upwards. So first of all, I'm going to just adhere my frame. Now, if I didn't have anything to put on top, I could of course use the foam strips, or the mini dimensionals just about fit, if you're careful so they don't go over the side of the frame. But it's, you know, it's up to you how you want to secure that. And I just decided to make it match an even border around there, like that. Then I think glue dots are the best thing for this. So spot of glue dots. Oh, where they gone? Oh, I used that many. Oh, there we go. Need to tear that off. 1, 2, just so that I can pop it over the frame like that. There we go. We're going to need a glue dot for our leaves. In fact, I put a couple of glue dots behind, put them behind the leaves. They don't really show up very well, so that's good. Over the frame, so it's a little bit over, something like that. Okay, and then some mini dimensionals for the tree, just because it's easier to use them. The large ones will fit up here, but the minis will fit pretty much everywhere. So you can put one at the top, along here, here. Oops. And because it's got to go over frame, it's got to go over burlap, you know, you've got to have a fair few going on here, and we don't like soggy middles. And then the last one I'm going to place just down at the base here and see if I need to chop a piece off. Yes, I do. They might be just a little bit too big for this piece down here, but once you've got it on, then you can go in and chop. Whereas it's much harder to chop it while it's not on the actual piece of card. I'm not going to put anything down the stalk because that's generally going to go over where the burlap and the leaf motif are. So I'm just going to put it on the elements on either side, because they shouldn't sag because they've got things to hold them higher in, if you see what I mean. And then just take these little pieces off. I think this could be for a guy as well as for a woman. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's nice neutral tones. It could be for anyone who likes the neutral set of colours that we do. There you go. You are wonderful. I like that. I like the addition of that as well, and I like the difference between the two. One in crumb cake and one in white. I think they go well together. Yeah. Tell me what you think. Do you like them in the crumb cake and the white, or the white? Let me know which is your favourite. And there's the frame that they would. Oops, not with that bit. That's a bit of rubbish. You wouldn't put that in there. So yes, there you go. So a card and a frame that could go to somebody for a birthday or just to say that you're thinking of them. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, I love this. I really hope you've enjoyed that technique of taking the ink off with your blender pen. I think that for me was just one of those aha moments, so I thought I had to share. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed it, then please let me know. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, or put a comment down below. It's always nice to hear. Give me a thumbs up or something, or a like, and let me know what you think. And if you want all of the measurements and the measurements for the box, then hop over to my YouTube, to my blog post, which is listed in the description below, and you'll be able to see that there. And if you're watching on my blog, then obviously you have all the details directly below you. All the details for purchasing anything that you've seen here are below, and I'm also running a giveaway this month. So anyone who places an order over £45 will be putting their name into the draw for some mystery, well, they're not mystery, I'm going to share them, I've shared them with you already this month, but with for some prizes, some quite large prizes, some bundles. So yeah, put your make sure you pop your orders in, but also put your comments on, because those will be also added into the draw for some blog candy giveaway. So add comments below in my blog post. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next week. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care for now. Bye bye.